Hello, dear investors. Thank you very much for watching our video review. Dear viewer, I kindly ask you to give the royal like in advance. Your thumbs up is extremely required for the development of the channel GURU.Markets. We will analyze the current fundamental indicators of the company Logistic Properties of the Americas, ticker LPA. This review is based on the data at the time, September 1st, 2024. By classification, GURU.Markets company Logistic Properties belongs to the subcategory. Parcel Logistics, 16 organizations participate in the assessment. This is quite representative. Let's start with summary information about the company. If necessary, you can pause it. We invite you to study all the parameters of the company under study more thoroughly. Access to the table with the classification of company tickers is absolutely free. Please share the video on your social networks. Thank you very much for your repost and other support. All this helps a lot in my work. Market capitalization of the company Logistic Properties valued at $0.33 billion. Market capitalization of the subcategory is $278 billion. Logistic Properties of the Americas accounts for a share of 0.12% and is one of the very small companies in the subcategory. The company's balance sheet capitalization is $0.03 billion, and the capitalization of the subcategory is $58 billion. Logistic Properties of the Americas constitutes a share of 0.05%. Comparing the occupied shares of market and book value, we see the following. Occupied share Logistic Properties of the Americas in a subcategory in case of market value assessment is 0.12%. Balance sheet capitalization is 0.05%. This is 58% less than the share of market capitalization. Assessment of the company's share of market and balance sheet capitalization in the subcategory. Bad, -1 point. The company has financial liabilities of $0.035 billion. Debt to book value represents 116.7% of the company's equity. Score for the company's debts. Bad, -1 point. The company's market value to earnings ratio is 219.5. With a subcategory average of 23.3, this is 89% higher than the subcategory average. Assessment of stock market value to earnings ratios in comparison with subcategory companies. Very bad, -2 points. Profit for the last 12 months was $1 million. Forward earnings for the next 12 months are unknown, which is extremely negative for the company's price. Assessment of expected future profit indicators in comparison with companies in the subcategory. Bad, -1 point. The company's price to revenue balance corresponds to 0. The average in the subcategory is 1.3, which is much worse than the average in the subcategory. Evaluation of the company's stock price to revenue ratio in comparison with indicators in the subcategory. Bad, -1 point. Revenue for the last 12 months was $0 million. Forward revenue for the next 12 months is unknown, and this is very negative for the company's prospects. Assessing the performance of projected future sales volumes in comparison with the performance of subcategory companies. Bad, -1 point. The margin is 0%, with an average in the subcategory of 5.5%. The difference between the subcategory average and the company's performance is 5.5%. Assessment of sales margins in comparison with the indicators of companies in the subcategory. Tolerable, -0.5 points. The company's share in terms of the number of employees in the subcategory is 0%, which is less than a share of market capitalization. This fact shows the current stock price of the company Logistic Properties of the Americas. The amount of market capital for each employee of the organization is $167,400,000, and for the subcategory, $261,000. The difference between the subcategory average and the company's indicators is 64,037.9%. Estimation of the volume of market capital per employee in comparison with indicators in the subcategory. Tolerable, 0 points. The profit per employee is $600,000. Average for the subcategory, $11,200. The difference between the subcategory average and the company's performance is 5,258%. Estimation of profit per employee in comparison with indicators in the subcategory. Good, 0.5 points. The share of sales for each employee of the company is $0,000. In the subcategory, $205,000. The difference between the subcategory average and the company's performance is 100%. Estimation of sales volume per individual company employee in comparison with the indicators of subcategory companies. Tolerable, 0 points. Shares short corresponded to 2.9%, with an average for the subcategory of 6.1%. This is an indicator of a possible short squeeze. Technical indicator RSI 14 shows a level of 41% for the company Logistic Properties of the Americas, while for the subcategory the RSI level 14 is approximately 51%. Technically, securities of the subcategory are quoted higher than those of Logistic Properties. Comparing the dynamics of the company's share price Logistic Properties and subcategory companies. We can see that over 12 months the stock Logistic Properties showed a dynamics of 3.2%. Against price dynamics for the subcategory minus 12%. This clearly does not indicate anything, but it is necessary to take note of this fact. The overall result is minus 7 out of 10 points. The average for the subcategory is 0.9 points. If you look very broadly within the entire market in aggregate, you can see that the average score for the market as a whole is 0.3 points. Against a score of minus 7 points for Logistic Properties. Let's look at the order table, which is available to you. The link to it is in the pinned comment. The order table contains absolutely all publicly made decisions by the information and reference evaluation system GURU.Markets. Access to the order table is absolutely free. Link in pinned comment. As a result of the analysis, Logistic Properties. GURU.Markets. Open an order. For a reason, Logistic Properties is the most overvalued company in the subcategory. Thank you all so much for watching this video and for using the information and help system from GURU.Markets. You really are the coolest crowd.